All right, hey everyone. Welcome back to our review here of The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity by Julia Cameron. This past week was week number 9 out of 12. So we are officially 3/4 of the way through this self-guided course to unblocking our creativity. Congratulations to me, congratulations to you. We're doing it. We're on our way. We're getting the creative juices flowing. This is a very exciting process. It's just important for us to remember everything is a process. Cool? It's so important that she says that word. I don't even know how many times in here, right? Like, if I had a quarter for every time she says the word process in this book, I'd be rich. Anyways, week 9 was recovering a sense of compassion. Pretty sure she's not talking about compassion for other things and people in the world, but compassion for you, yourself, because you are enough and you matter and you are important, okay? So this chapter is talking all about you and how to be kinder to yourself, all right? One of the first things she talks about in this chapter is fear. And what she has to say about fear is this. She throws out the word laziness right away. Because a lot of times we think, oh, I'm not doing this because I'm lazy. Well, poor me. I'm ashamed. I'm shameful of myself. Don't look at me. I could have been a great actress if only I wasn't so lazy, right? That's not true. She's asking you to have compassion for yourself, to be kinder to yourself, and define things with the proper terms. Don't be mean and don't call yourself lazy. Blocked artists are not lazy. They are simply blocked, right? Furthermore, do not call the inability to start laziness. Call it fear. Fear is the true name of what ails the blocked artist. The need to be a great artist makes it hard to be an artist. The need to produce a great work of art makes it hard to produce any art at all. Setting impossible goals creates enormous fear, which creates procrastination, which we wrongly call laziness. Do not call procrastination laziness. Call it fear. We are not lazy. We are not procrastinating just to procrastinate. There are reasons, there are blocks that we have yet to fight through and acknowledge and accept, because that's something you have to do, right? If you have a problem, you have to admit you have a problem before you could explore that problem and figure out how to solve it before you move on. This is what therapy is for. I think we've mentioned this in a previous video, right? Right? Like, scars get worse before they fully heal. It's just part of the process. So as blocked artists, part of the process to unblocking ourselves is acknowledging that we are blocked. And a lot of the time, the reasons deep down for why we are blocked may be because we are too afraid to not be blocked. And that fear looks different for everybody. Everyone's got their own path, their own journey, their own projects, their own ideas and life and all that jazz, and everyone's process is different. So, of course, the cure for any blocked anything is love. All you need is love. Use love for your artist to cure its fear. So instead of just yelling at your inner child artist, being all, hey, why are you afraid? Stop it. Just do it. Stop being lazy. Stop procrastinating. Just do it. There's tough love, but I think tough love only works when it's done a very particular way, right? You can't just yell at your inner artist child like you're in military boot camp or something. It's like, just do it, right? You gotta coddle a child. You gotta tell it, I'm here for you. It's okay. We're in this together. I love you. You gotta cheer it on. You gotta say, let's go play instead of get to work. That's the difference. I really like that. Instead of let's get to work, tell your inner artist child, let's go play. And that's the point, I think, of these artist dates. She wants us to have gone on every single week. She wants us to really get in touch with our inner artist child, with ourselves, to just allow ourselves to not give a heck what anybody else thinks when they look at us, when we're being weird or different or unique. We're just having fun. We're playing, right? So being an artist requires enthusiasm more than discipline. And that's where she talks about enthusiasm is grounded in play. Our artist child can best be enticed to work by treating work as play. That really resonates with me because especially with the whole comparison we like to do to ourselves with other people, like, oh, so-and-so has only been in the city for how many months and already has an agent? That is so unfair. I've been here longer than them and I don't have an agent yet. And then we immediately jump to, what am I doing wrong? What is wrong with me? Why can't I have what this other person has? Because you're not that other person. That other person had their own journey and things that they did to get to the point where they are at. You first have to do the inner work for yourself to be prepared to meet someone and have them help you out and become your agent, for an example, right? Comparison, it's real. I forget the exact term for it. Imposter syndrome. That's what I hear people call it all the time. Imposter syndrome is real. Don't let it discourage you too much because you are not other people. You are yourself. And as everyone likes to keep telling us, you are enough. Tell it to yourself every day until you finally believe it. You may never believe it, but you should still tell it to yourself. And that's the power of what they call positive affirmations, which is something I'm still learning about. So take that for what it's worth. Remember that art is a process. The process is supposed to be fun. Oh yeah, a lot of times we tell ourselves stuff like, oh, I'd love to, but I can't because blah, blah, blah. She's talking about how we tend to get more sympathy as crippled artists than as functional ones. So for me, for example, if I go on an audition and I don't get it, and I go on a lot of auditions and I just keep not getting cast, people who don't know any better might think I'm a bad actress because they don't understand the process and how shit works, right? So it's easier if I just don't go on any auditions because then I can't get rejected and then people can't judge me and think that I'm bad, right? That's an example as to what we may convince ourselves is a payout for staying stuck, right? We get more sympathy if I tell people, oh, I'd love to go on more auditions, but I'm just so busy with other things and I don't have the time. Then we get, yeah, poor you, versus I've been audition after audition and I'm just still not getting cast. Then they're thinking, ew, so. We crave sympathy. We want people to be kind to us, and they may not be as kind if we actually try our hardest to get what we want. In dealing with our creative U-turns, we must first of all extend ourselves some sympathy. Creativity is scary, and in all careers, there are U-turns. So this whole section on creative U-turns, she's talking about, for example, that moment when you may decide, I'm going to go skydiving, and you're in the plane, and you're just at that jumping point and it's time for you to like lean out the door and like jump from the plane and you just, I don't know, maybe I'm not going to do it after all. That's a U-turn. You think you want something and you're almost about to get it and then you last minute change your mind because why? You are too afraid. That's right. Fear is the root of everything here. Oh, I really wish I could blank, but I can't because I am too afraid. So that's something she talks about here. And she tries to comfort you by letting you know that artists are not the only ones that have these creative U-turns. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, there are moments in your life when you have those moments. And she reminds you that you are not alone. And it is okay and encouraged to ask other people about their U-turns and how they survived them, to get inspiration and encouragement for dealing with your own. People want to help other people. Be kind to them, they'll be kind back. If you need help, you have to ask for it. Nobody's a freaking mind reader, right? Yep. Who can I ask for help about this? Then start asking. Then she goes on to talk about how to start breaking down those blocks that we have created, knowingly or a lot of the times unknowingly for ourselves, to keep us creatively blocked, right? So she talks about resentment or anger and resistance or fear. So the first thing she wants you to do is remember that your artist is a child. Treat yourself the way you would treat a child. You have to be kind, you have to love it, you have to support it and encourage it. And this is where morning pages comes in, or journaling, right? It feels good to just get everything out down on paper. Write it down so it's no longer in here. It's out in the universe, right? You wrote it down, you feel better, you can see it. you can better understand it because you're slowing down your thoughts to write it out and really think about it. So what she wants you to do is write down all of the reasons and all of the things that make you angry, all the people that make you angry, all the resentment you have towards something that you want to get done that you haven't gotten done yet. It's like, oh, I really want to do this, but I can't, and this is why. This makes me angry, blah, blah, blah. And then so write out all your anger, and then write out all the reasons why you were afraid, right? And then you can write about the payout, right? What do you gain from staying stuck? And we've talked about that, right? Like, we get sympathy. We get people that don't know any better not judging us because they don't know any better. So if we just keep staying blocked, then we can't reach our full potential, or better yet, we can't potentially fail at attempting to reach our full potential because we're so afraid of failure. Or maybe we're afraid of success, because what would that mean? Like, if we get what we think we want, then what happens next? We have to find something else we want, or maybe we won't like it as much as we thought we would. So write out all the things that make you angry about what you want. Write out all the reasons why you're afraid of trying to get what you want. And write out all the reasons for, write out like why it's beneficial. Write out the payout, right? Like, what do I gain from staying stuck? And then she wants you to make a deal with yourself. She wants you to believe in a higher power, and she wants you to make a deal with that higher power and say, okay, I don't have to be a perfectionist. I don't have to worry about how good my art is. I just have to make it. And I'm going to make as much of it as I possibly can because it's a numbers game. And eventually I'm going to make something that's going to be brilliant. I'll worry about the quantity. You, big guy, are going to worry about the quality. And that's the deal she wants you to make with Big Guy upstairs. And then the very first thing she wants you to do this past week was to read your morning pages, which is funny because up until now, she's been telling you to not read your morning pages, to just get it out and let it be. That's if you want to go back and read your morning pages or your journalings, your inner thoughts, you can see how that goes. What kind of feelings come up when you read about feelings you had the past week or a couple weeks or however far back you want to go. I personally don't go back and read any of my journalings. One, because it's just the act of writing it down in the moment that's so helpful for me. I don't personally gain anything from going back and rereading it. Also, I don't think I could read it. I can't really read my own handwriting. It's small and cursive, and it's a mess. So even if I wanted to read about what I read, what I wrote last week, it would be very challenging for me personally. But if it's something you're interested in doing, I challenge you to go back and read something that you wrote from your morning pages and let me know how that goes. So yeah, forgive yourself and remember you are not alone. And that is all part of the process for becoming unblocked as an artist. She talks about visualization, which made me think about something. So when you visualize something, it's easier to make it feel real. Instead of just an idea or a hope or a dream, you're mentally starting to make it make sense. The more you can envision something becoming a reality, the easier it is to start making that plan of actionable steps to actually get that to happen and to materialize. So this is interesting because it made me think about therapy versus a session with a life coach. Because life coaches are not therapists, which is something I learned. I had a friend that was going through some schooling to become a life coach, and I went to their final exam sort of situation, and I was helping them practice being in a session. So I was in a session with somebody, and it's funny because a lot of times a stereotypical question you're familiar with from therapists, a therapist may say, yes, and how does that make you feel? They always are encouraging you to get in touch with that inner child of yours to see what is truly at the root of whatever fear you may have that's keeping you stuck, right? A life coach is more focused on the plans and the actionable steps and how to get to where you want to be. In order to do that, you first have to visualize it, like we just said. So a life coach's shtick is they were constantly asking me in that session, and what would that look like? Right? They ask you, what do you want? And they continue with, what would that look like? I think that's interesting. Do you think that's interesting? Let me know down below in the comments. And that was chapter 9, recovering a sense of compassion. For 10, we are going to be, this upcoming week, we are recovering a sense of self-protection. What does that mean? Check back this time next week to find out. All right. Good luck and have fun this upcoming week. Let me know what comes up for you.